YouTubers, and welcome to Level-Headed News. This is your host, Brenda. I have 5 articles in this episode for you. The URLs are in the description of this video for your convenience. I have audio, and then we'll get rolling. More episodes for you this morning. Welcome to Level-Headed. There we go. Okay, the first article that I have for you is off of WND.com. Get it up here on the, and I'll read it to you. Well, come on, hamster. It's spinning, and the hamster first flying. Oh my, come on. I just had this page up here reading it, putting all this up for the show, so I know it works. There we go. Angry liberals can't handle truth. Shut down my speech. Jesse Lee Peterson. And we'll get it on the screen a little bit. The commentary. Come on. There we go. Now, I spoke to the Southern California Junior State of America, or the JSA, Winter Congress this weekend. 860 high schoolers, supposedly 70% liberal. I've even seen a better looking group, or try this again, I've never seen a better looking group of young people. The boys wore suits and ties, and the girls wore dresses and heels. My talk followed a liberal California state assemblyman speech scheduled for an hour, consisting of 25 to 45-minute speech followed by questions and answers. But I was thrown out before the 25-minute mark. I started out my book, The Proves Racism Does Not Exist, up to divide and conquer through anger. Angry people feel like victims are pathetic. Some love this message. Barack Obama divided the races like no other because he's all about politics, power, and wealth. Liberals do not care about people. Obama pitted blacks against whites and police, up to hate by their lying, false leaders over the decades. Most with police are criminals. Thugs like Michael Brown or Trayvon Martin lives. Whose home lives I described. Schoolers burst out shouting and jeers when I told the truth about icons of Black Lives Matter movement. 10 minutes into my talk, the JSA governor, high school senior Justin, asked me to begin early. Immediately, dozens of students lined up on both sides of the room to ask their questions. We'll just scroll up a little more. It says, my answers to their questions each caused an uproar. Hold up a little too far. Nothing like getting technology to work with you, is there? On. Other questions each caused an uproar. Unfortunately, only about 4 people, all girls, were allowed to state their case and ask questions before they decided to shut me down completely. 2 girls questioned my position that racism doesn't exist. They think prove racism exists. I explained that blacks have created negative reputations for themselves through dangerous neighborhoods, robbery, rape, and murder of one another and of white people. Liars, and you can't trust their studies or anything a liberal has to say. LGBT rights important to her, and well, proportionate LGBT suffering with information from Human Rights Campaign. I responded by saying there's no such thing as LGBT rights. Before I could elaborate, the crowd burst into cries of outrage. Justin came to me and said we should not discuss that topic because we won't agree, and the crowd wouldn't be able to handle it. I wanted to hear it and shouted when he cut off the topic. Before we moved on, I added that the same laws that protect all Americans protect homosexuals and other LGBT. Don't need special laws for special people. Finally, one girl asked, if racism does not exist, the purpose of Black Lives Matter, why do we need it? I said Black Lives Matter is an evil, angry, agitated group worse than the KKK. At this, the crowd screamed louder than ever. One young man tried to rush the stage. He was being pushed back as he shouted that they killed his great-grandfather. He later interrupted conservative young guys to me to dispute the facts about Trayvon Martin. When we left, he cursed at me and flipped me off. Up a little bit more here. Or a little half-dead hamster. It's the adult program director. Well, then it went too far. Gee, I need Christmas. That is very aggravating. Now it's got something trying to play. Well, okay. The adult program director for JSA, liberal feminist Obama supporter, Yvonne England, put her hands on me twice to pull me away from the mic and prevent me from speaking. She did not want me to mention God in my speech or say any Obama is the worst president we've ever had. She told me I'm never coming back, upset that I told her not to touch me. Despite her assault, I continued my speech to the young people by telling them, thinking for yourself to consider what's right and what's wrong and not just accept what they're told. Yvonne stood there fuming behind me, proud. His heart had never beat so fast in his life. He repeatedly promised students the opportunity to talk and interrogate my ideas outside. Students immediately joined me outside. Up a little bit with any luck at all. On. A little bit more. Let's go. It's got this video that it's wanting to play. I'm fighting with this video to get this video shut down on here. My goodness. There we go. Very shortly, however, after 2 or 3 minutes, the adults in charge demanded the young people go back inside. 2 men told me I had to leave, and they escorted me away. Another liberal JSA employee, Derek, pretended to respect my opinions, but he soon started yelling at me and accusing me of the students as I tried to get my parking pass validated. And there's pictures in here of him speaking with the kids. Pull that up to view that. It says, more than ever, young people lack good fathers, so they hate men. Barna Group reports 59% of millennials who grew up in the church have dropped out. I could recognize the young people who are confident and happy. They're conservative and they can handle disagreement. Among the insane liberal crowds, I pray that they continue to set the example for the other youth, strength in their homes. And there's some more pictures. Hamster's running, but he's not getting very far. Get past the pictures. There's a lot of comments at the bottom of this if you want to pull that up and read those comments. They have his Tribune. Poor little fella. They're off. And then waiting for the hamster. This is off Conservative Tribune, and it is about abusers in Wisconsin. It says Wisconsin welfare abusers might have to find employment to eat. Governor Scott Walker has just proven once again that he's a governor government dependency and a constant state of poverty for the state's citizens. According to the Washington Examiner, Walker has moved his executive budget to propose an expansion of work requirements to able-bodied adults with school-age children on food stamps. Currently, food stamp work requirements only apply to able-bodied adults without children. What's more, you have the work requirements applies to childless parents on Medicaid and advocated for a pilot program to begin work requirements for able-bodied adults in public housing. You're part of Walker's executive budget. Well, get the page to hold still here. And literally for goodness sakes, the first item on his list in a section called Encourage and Reward Work, help people move toward self-sufficiency. The goal, as Walker put it, was to connect people to employment. This is exactly what Walker and every other government in the nation needs to be doing. And I'm trying to get it to scroll down here. Hamster's running. Obviously, the less government interference with the lives of American people, the better. But considering the level of dependency on the government, the American people have already, this is a massive step in the right direction. An example of the hands up, not hand out mindset that has been rallying cry for conservative fiscal responsibility for years. Toward weaning welfare recipients from governmental, dependency. Not only will some citizens cease to be a drain on their neighbors, but they will be stimulated by working, purchasing, and responsible citizens. There you have that article. The next one that I have here is off Infowars.com. And it's a previous deported illegal beats Desert Storm veteran to death. Charges, are expected to be upgraded for Honduran national who allegedly beat a Desert Storm veteran to death in South Texas. Earlier this month, 32-year-old Andres was taken into custody in McAllen more than a week after fleeing a rollover accident he'd had in a stolen vehicle. And there's some video in this if you want to pull it up to view that. Had located the owner of the vehicle, 56-year-old Jose Luis Ovadello, brutally beaten outside his home in late January. Police said they connected Ortiz to the crime, reports GV. Breitbart News has details on the assault. The victim was at his home when the Honduran illegal immigrant arrived and assaulted him to steal his vehicle. Authorities have been able to determine that Andres Roberto Ortiz had been deported multiple times before being connected to the robbery. The account is set up before Ovadello's death sheds more light on the deadly attack. And there's an insert here that says tragedy struck on 1/29/2017. He was home alone when he heard a noise in his backyard. He found himself confronted by thieves trying to steal his vehicle. He was beaten unconscious. A few hours later, local law enforcement came to his home after finding his truck abandoned in a ditch. They found him still unconscious in his backyard. Today, Lewis has not woken up since. His family is asking for prayers and medical expenses. And Monitor reports Ortiz reported after being pulled over in another traffic stop following the rollover accident. After the Honduran fled the scene of the alleged SUV theft, an undocumented man was pulled over and, per McAllen police protocol, was then transferred to the Border Patrol because he was undocumented. Then the man from Honduras was transferred to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, local officials said, for deportation. Before the flight was scheduled to leave last week, McAllen police called asking ICE to hold the Honduran man. McAllen police believed it may have been the same Honduran man who allegedly committed the assault and robbery, ICE officials said. Ovadello was in a coma for nearly a month and finally passed away Friday morning. The victim was a 15-year-old U.S. Navy veteran and served in the Operation Desert Storm, according to his son, with more details on his military service appearing on GoFundMe. He served in the Navy for 9 years, 1981 through 1990. In the VA-72 Blue Hawk Squadron stationed out of Jacksonville, Florida. He served time on 3 different aircraft carriers, the CV-66 U.S. America, the USS Independence, and the USS Saratoga. After leaving active duty, he continued to serve in the U.S. Naval Reserves from 1996 in New Orleans, Louisiana. After Ovadello's death Friday, McAllen police said they would be consulting the Hidalgo County District Attorney's Office to see if charges would be upgraded from aggravated assault and robbery to capital murder. Son said he hadn't really thought about the nation's immigration crisis. He has a different outlook now that his father is gone. I had no real opinion as far as the immigration stance goes, but now I believe that this could have been prevented had the right steps been taken, he said. The Hidalgo County District Attorney's Office did not return InfoWars request for comments at the time of publishing. The article that we have is off dailymail.co.uk. And waiting for the hamster. Come on. Hamster in the wheel, but you can't make him spin it. There, it's starting to come up here. Terror group are teaching their fighters to eat non-Muslims. F up. Handbook found in an Islamic State training school was found by a think tank. It revealed a horrifying new stance taken by jihadists. Advice on what parts of the body to eat and how to prepare them. Fed the remains of her own son by sick ISIS terrorists. Terrorists are teaching their fighters to eat non-Muslims. A handbook found in the terror group's training school has been found by a British counter-extremism think tank, a new stance of the jihadists. ISIS chiefs given advice on what parts of the body to eat and how to prepare them, and comes after a sickening report of the remains of her own son when she was told by the terrorists it was meat and rice. And the hamster jumped a little too much here. Let's get this to where we can. Come on. My goodness. Up here a little bit. I'm not asking too much of you. The memo was, well, it starts me out and then it jumps. My hamster's got the palsy or something. What in the hell? Come on. Well, don't understand what his problem is. We'll give him a minute here to control. I guess I'll take this opportunity to remind you that on Friday nights at 8 o'clock, I do a live show. If you're not aware of that, tune in. I talk about some of the top articles that I've done during the week a little bit. And you never know who's liable to stop by. We have a live chat room and be there. So you might want to tune into that. On the hamster, come on. I don't know why he's being so difficult with me on this one. Come on. There's some pictures in this, and I'll warn you ahead of time if you pull it up. Well, for goodness sakes. Try to be careful how much I goose the hamster because I don't want him to go to the bottom of the page again on me. Come on. Okay, the memo was discovered by the Quillam Foundation and its chief executives, Haras Rafiq. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing any of that right. I'm not Middle Eastern. Revealed cannibalism, the curriculum. He said if there are no food supplies available during what they describe as a time of jihad, terrorists kill non-Muslims or Muslims who do not share their version of Islam for food. Practicing Muslim Mr. Rafiq said he found the discovery utterly revolting and that their most horrific finding was that cannibalism was being taught in classrooms. The plight of the desperate mother when she visited ISIS headquarters in Mosul, Iraq. And there is some video in this. It's called Horrifying ISIS Sinkhole Shows the Brutality of the Extremist Group. So, see that, you'll have to pull up that article. The next article, the final one in this episode, is off of And this is one of those things that is so bizarre. So how in the world this stuff happens, or what in the world these people are on. Prison term for couple who crashed child's birthday party with Confederate flags and racial slurs. This, seriously. A mom and dad in Douglas County, Georgia, were slammed with lengthy prison sentences on Monday for disrupting the birthday party of an African American child with Confederate flags and racial slurs. Court judge sentenced Kayla Ray Norton and Jose Emmanuel Torres to 15 and 20 years in prison, respectively, calling the disruption a hate crime. The two offenders will also be permanently banished from Douglas County. During the birthday party, Norton and Torres were part of a convoy of pickup trucks decked out with Confederate flags that cruised by the party. People from the convoy shouted slurs at partygoers and pointed guns at them. And Torres were convicted of violating State Street Gang acts and making terroristic threats. Also convicted of an additional 3 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, even though a weapon was never fired. Prosecutors and the judge really threw the book at the couple, who share 3 kids but aren't married. The sentencing may go down as the harshest punishment ruining a party, and you can get less time for murdering someone. Norton and Torres wept uncontrollably in court. You can see Norton and Torres with their group flag, apparently taunting and yelling racial epithets at the child's birthday party group. This can't make this stuff up. Says the incident was part of a 2-day drunken demonstration by the group, which had been holding a Respect the Flag rally to defend the Confederate flag. It was the object of a national oblobrunum due to the massacre of black churchgoers that had just happened in nearby Charleston, South Carolina, according to District of Attorney. My eyes see it, my mouth doesn't say it right. According to the district attorney, the rally goers also threatened African American motorists, and one of the group's members approached a car with a gun. They also threatened black shoppers at Walmart and convenience store. In justifying his long sentence, the judge cited the crime's proximity to the Charleston church massacre. That's all I have for you in this episode, but I got a couple more to go, so bear with me. We'll keep you entertained, me and the hamster. And if you like what I'm doing, if you can appreciate what I'm trying to do here, give it a thumbs up and share it on your social media so everybody gets to enjoy the entertainment. Subscribe if you haven't done that. That way you'll stay informed. See you in the next one.